welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the trading setup, the market strategies you need to follow for this fresh and new week. Now, after 8 days and 2 successive weekly gains, the Nifty is heading into an all-important week yet again for global cues that will determine the emerging market trajectory going forward. Remember, the Nifty has not only crossed the 25,000 mark but also 25,100 in the final 2 sessions of the last week. We've also logged in the longest weekly winning streak for the Nifty in a year as well. And the Nifty with that 25,100 mark has come to a 2-month high level as well. For this week, of course, India's WPI inflation, August CPI inflation, mixed global cues, the primary market activity, all of it may be influencing the benchmarks, the Sensex and the Nifty on the first day of this new week. Remember, as far as the global setup is concerned, we've seen the US equity futures. They were largely flat in the early trading session. Asia markets also ahead of its week's FOMC or the Federal Reserve's policy meeting is remaining a little cautious. Investors are also betting on a rate cut with the 2-day meeting that wraps up on Wednesday as well. Remember, on Friday we had seen the Wall Street indices, including the Nasdaq, notching another record high close as well. We've also seen a 2% uptick for the second straight weekly gain that we've seen for the US indices. S&P 500 added 1.5% again, best weekly performance since early August. And what we've also seen is that the Dow Jones also rose by about 1%, snapping 2 weeks of a losing trend as well. Now, Asia Pacific this morning largely mixed, tracking all of these global data points as well. GIFT Nifty is also indicating a start on a milder note, at least at this point in time. So far in September, we've also seen that the FPIs have sold equities worth about 10,782 odd crore rupees of shares. So all of this will be important to track as well. But let's welcome our guest on board, market expert, Mr. Avinash Gorakshakar is with us to help us understand how do we expect the trade to take shape in this new week. Warm welcome and good morning to you, Avinash. Good to have you with us at the start of the new week. What's the sense that you have? Do you think we will have the strength to carry on the moves that we have garnered so far over the last 2 weeks on the markets? Will we continue to sustain above that 25,100 mark? And what will be the key factors that will be driving the sentiments?
Yeah, good morning, Sakshi. I think markets would continue their positive momentum, largely aided by what global commentary has come from the US. I think it's very clear and evident, from the tweets which Mr. Donald Trump has been putting out that I think there could be a very good near-term solution for the tariff issue, and I think something concrete could happen maybe in the month of October end or November. And I think if that happens, then I think the markets would clearly give it a thumbs up. As far as the market mood at the moment is concerned, 25,000, as you rightly pointed out, has been crossed. But I think 25,150 is a very crucial level. Once the market convincingly crosses that level and we see continuous buying, from the domestic funds and, liquidity being more controlled by the FIs, because as you realize, two factors which are dragging the market down are typically, the FI kind of sellout since January. And most importantly, the IPO market has been going very great. A lot of liquidity has been sucked out from the secondary markets. I was just reading some, note which says that in the next 2 to 3 weeks, another additional 10,000 crores is going to be raised by the end of the month. So, that pressure is also going to keep the market on its toes. There could be some sellout, in secondary market, stocks. Although one good part is that SIP flows have been very robust. Most of the money is being invested in the market. So my sense is, I think it's a good time to look at good quality companies, good businesses, which I think probably the second quarter could give a better kind of indication. Something like capital goods, hospitality, hotels, cement. These are sectors which we feel, if they are available at reasonably good prices, the second half is definitely going to be better for these companies. So I think index-wise, we'll have to wait how the market takes off. But until and unless the IPO flow stops, we are not going to see a runaway rally.
Okay, fair point. Avinash, help us understand with respect to the kind of themes that were really doing, doing a lot of heavy lifting for the markets over the last couple of weeks. That was the GST rationalization-led themes. You pointed out a few of them as well. The consumption-oriented themes, autos, for instance, FMCG, consumer durables. We've been seeing a lot of stock-specific action across these spaces over the last 2 weeks odd. This is the last 1 week before we see the GST GST cuts actually take shape from next Monday onwards, that's September 22nd. Do you see these themes continuing to pick up in momentum as far as this last 1 week before the actual cuts come in, or do you think the markets will hold fire till the time the final cuts come in now?
No, I think already, Sakshi, a lot of momentum has created in the GST positively impacted sectors. Typically, if you look at FMCG, autos, you look at consumer durables. My sense is that the first move has happened, but I think the markets would obviously like to wait for the October to December quarter. Because that is the first quarter where you could see a good amount of volume growth getting in. Obviously, margins also, most of the companies are expecting better volume growth. So, the margin contraction may not happen. But I think to get a very realistic feel, you need to take the next 6 months into account. I think markets are looking forward that the next 6 months, October to March, is a period where you'll see a good amount of traction in such kind of companies, specifically cement, auto components, autos, FMCG, consumer appliances, where these are basically consumption and discretionary items. So I think that is where the market should look at. But yes, in the near term, most of the rally has happened. Maybe markets would now consolidate there, because post 22nd September, which is the first day of Navratri, I think the trend would be more visible in the month of October and November. So I think clearly somebody who wants to even take a punt as of now can slowly start accumulating these stocks. I think if there is any meaningful correction in the market.
Fair point. Let's quickly look at how the markets are trading in the pre-open tick. 25,104, mild 7-8 point offer downtick is what we have, at least at this point in time. But the good part is we've still held on to that 25,100 odd mark. Remains to be seen whether there is some profit booking that takes place again in trade today. Avinash ji, the other space that surprised us on the positive side last 1 week was the IT space as well. Now a lot of hopes are again being pinned on, like you said, conciliatory talks on the tariff front this week. There were some statements from US government officials saying that there could be again a delegation from India that could be going to the US for furthering the talks as well. IT space, even though not directly impacted with tariffs, has been one of the sentiment drivers on the same news flow, and that's on the back of uncertainty that gets created because of the heightened tariffs and the trade relations that get on the weaker side. How are you looking at the IT space as of now, sir?
So I think, see, something interesting has happened in the IT space. I think Infosys has, of course, given a very liberal buyback of almost 18,000 crores. I think that is definitely was a big, turning point. But I think I've been reading that most of the large companies like Infosys, TCS, global giants like Accenture have now started working on AI models for the Indian market. And I think this is going to be, Sakshi, one of the most important turning points for the sector, because companies which are well prepared on the AI front, you're going to see a lot of AI applications, and the market for India, especially the generative AI and the conversational AI points, are going to generate a lot of interest and a lot of business for companies who are well positioned earlier. I think Infosys has already done a lot of work. They've not disclosed this, to the public media, but my sense is that over the next 3 to 6 months, IT is definitely looking attractive. My sense is that somebody who wants to take a long-term kind of position here can definitely look at companies like TCS, Infosys, or maybe smaller companies like KPIT or Persistent, because clearly the worst seems to have bottomed out. And I think clearly maybe from the next financial year things could be much better. So I think you need to give in a little more time of 3 to 6 months, but valuations definitely appear to be quite reasonably attractive.
Okay, we are now ticking higher in trade, 25,131. So the pre-open trade is turning positive as far as the markets are concerned, at least on the benchmark index level. Of course, by 9:07, when they settle down, we'll again come back to really finding out what the sectoral action could be, and of course, all the stocks and the sectors that could be in focus as well. One more sector that I wanted to discuss with Avinashji up front is that on Friday, we actually saw sharp momentum on the upside as far as the defense names are concerned. Something that was lying low, something that was hibernating for some time. The defense stocks suddenly got into action. Most of them were in high single digits or in even double digits as well. Now, of course, a lot of individual news flows really led to that move. There were order flow news coverage that was also being seen across the board, but it seemed like, the defense theme is coming back. What's your current sense on the defense stocks, sir?
No, I think defense stocks, as you rightly mentioned, have a multi-year kind of growth, kind of growth potential. I think these are companies which investors should not look at it from a quarter-to-quarter point. But I think if you look at the order book of almost all the companies, the large ones like HAL, Bharat Electronics, BDL, Mazgaon Dock or Garden Reach or Cochin Shipyard, these are companies which are sitting on the next 2 to 3 years kind of order book. And I think the government is very serious of indigenizing a lot of more, kind of defense equipment, defense parts in the country itself. So I think, investors should not miss out the rally. I think companies like Bharat Electronics or something like a HL, if somebody has a 12 to 18 month kind of time frame, Sakshi, I think any dip could be used as an opportunity. I think, talking about these companies on a day to day basis would not have any meaning. But yes, if you want to build a portfolio, I think they should be part of your portfolio because the alpha creation still continues. And I think, as long as order book continues, these companies execute their plans well. I think definitely even from these levels, a decent risk reward can be made.
Fair point. Let me just now read out for all our viewers all the stocks that could you keep in your watch list today, and all those that are on the stocks to news list that you all have to keep an eye out on. And we'll of course take a view from Avinash ji on some of those stocks there. So Adani Power from the Adani group of stocks will be in focus today. Remember, it has signed a 25-year agreement with Bihar State Power Generation Company to set up a greenfield 2400 megawatt ultra super critical thermal power plant that's in Bhagalpur, and the project will be developed on a build, finance, own and operate model and will consist of 3 units of 800 megawatts each. That stock will be clearly in focus. We also have Shakti Pumps from the agri infra space that will be in focus. The company's backed a major order worth 374 crores from Maharashtra State Electricity Distribution Company, and that's going to be in focus as well. The deal covers supply and also installation of 34,720 off-grid solar pumps as well. Dr. Reddy's from the pharma space is going to be in focus. It has disclosed that the US FDA has actually issued it a Form 483 with 5 observations after the inspection of its biologics facility in Bachupalli in Hyderabad. There could be some negative reaction on this one. But on the positive side, Alembic Pharma could be reacting in the green as it has received an establishment inspection report. That's the EIR from US FDA. That's a clearance certificate for 2 of its API facilities in Gujarat. So that's a positive. Again, from the healthcare pack, I'm keeping an eye out on Apollo Hospitals as well. The company's board has now approved acquiring 30.5% in Apollo Health and Lifestyle from IFC and IFCAAF for 1250 crore rupees, and this is and also announced a 573 odd crore rupee investment to set up a proton therapy oncology facility in Gurugram as well. So a lot of expansion that the company is focusing on is going to be clearly in focus. From the metal space, I'm keeping an eye out on Vedanta. It's going to be another important week for Vedanta. The company has said that it has resolved long-standing dispute with Chinese construction and engineering firm Sepco Electric Power and Construction Company. This is over its power business. This clears from Avinash ji on Vedanta, sir. Vedanta has been in news flow since the time it announced its restructuring, but has been facing a lot of volatility of late because of the news flows that have come in and shrouded its uptake. How are you looking at Vedanta at this point in time, sir, for those who are looking at unlocking of shareholder value with multiple restructuring that's going to take place now?
So I think, see, within the metal pack, Vedanta looks quite strongly positioned. And I think with the
Okay.
SEPCO settlement out, my sense is that you could see a good uptick today. I think post September, obviously, once the demerger happens, Sakshi, I think that is when the real, markets would realize what is the value attached for each of the businesses. There are going to be 5 companies. Of course, Hindustan Zinc is going to be kept independent. But my sense is a lot of debt restructuring, a lot of capital structuring is going to happen once Vedanta gets split into 5 companies, and that is definitely going to create a lot of buzz in the market. My personal feeling is that possibly, just ahead of the demerger, you could see a little bit of uptick, and after that, I think the market should aware what is the kind of value attached to each company. But we are structurally positive here. Anybody who wants to take a long-term view can still take the benefit of the demerger, and obviously, I know take a small position here.
Okay, fair point. The markets have settled in the pre-open, just 5 points higher in trade, 25,118, giving us a sense that we could be headed for a positive opening when the markets open at 9:15. The sectors that could be in focus could be autos, metals, real estate could be in focus. Even the broader markets that started to recover over the last couple of weeks, we have also seen some uptick coming in again in the pre-open trade today. So we'll keep an eye out on that pocket too. Within the stocks, again, food delivery space like Eternal could be in focus, Hero Moto, Bajaj Auto from the auto pack could be in focus, the two-wheeler names especially. From the banks also, the large private sector banks, ICICI, HDFC could also be in focus in trade today. So that's also something that one can definitely keep an eye out on. Within the laggards, you could again see some dips as far as the FMCG names are concerned, some dips as regards the pharma space as well that we are looking at this point in time, and also some insurance names like HDFC Life that could be also in focus at this point in time as well. Let's also look at some of the stocks within the PSU basket like NMDC, BHEL that could be in focus, Concor could also be in focus at this point. Let me welcome our another guest on board. We have Vaishali Parekh now joining in from Prabhudas Leeladhar. She's the head of research there. Warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for taking the time out, Vaishali. Good morning. Help us understand your take for this fresh and new week for the markets. After 25,100 has stayed with us for the last couple of sessions. What's next?
Very good morning, Sakshi. I think it looks pretty positive from here on. When I was just seeing all the sectors, also, I think most of the sectors have started participating. So that would give us further confirmation that yes, market is likely to go higher. But having said that, I would say 25 150, 25 250 continues to act as a major resistance level. So unless and until we move past that and sustain above that, I think we will keep a range of 24 700 to 25 250. Further on, we are expecting a target of 25 500 levels. So that's how I would be looking at the major index Nifty. And Bank Nifty also is showing improvement. So I think gradually we'll go towards 55 500, 56,000 levels.
Okay, got that. Now let me just ask you on specific, stocks and sectors as well that you're going to keep an eye out on for today, Vaishali. Any two stock ideas that you could begin with?
Sure. So I think one of them is United Spirits. We've seen that the stock has shown signs of bottoming out, and today pre-opening is also very strong. So in my opinion, 1260 acts as a very good support level. But for a short-term trader, even 1300 could be taken as a support. And I would look at a positional target of around 1400 to start with. So I think this gives a very favorable risk-reward ratio. So this is one of the stocks that I'm looking at. And besides that, let's see, I think we could see Uno Minda once again. It's showing strength. The upside momentum is also very good. So I would look at Uno Minda, and the other stock to my liking is Ashok Leyland.
Okay, got that. I hope viewers have noted that down in terms of the key stocks that one could focus on again. Viewers, there's also, to be kept in mind the block deals that are taking place. You can look at Eternal. That's a block deal of 91.9 lakh shares that's taking place at this point in time. So look at it as well. We'll of course share more details with you. And BEL also is seeing a block deal of 29.8 lakh shares there. And therefore, both these stocks are in focus at least for now. Vaishali, on Eternal, what's your fresh approach? The stock has been in focus for some time now, slowly and gradually inching higher, betting big on the GST rationalization that could lead to a lot of more order inflows for the company when it comes to both its quick commerce business as well as food delivery. How would you look at it?
Definitely. So the stock has been in a trending mode since quite some time, and still having seen this chart right now, there's no sign of exhaustion. So I would take as 310 as a support level. This stock, it's very important for it to move past 335 levels to head towards 360. So for now, with 310 as a near-term support, or to be liberal, I think 300 should act as a good support to look for a target of 350, 360. That's how I would look at this stock.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has also given you some sense. I think real estate could be in focus, Vaishali, today. This has been one topic which we have discussed, in at length a lot of times as well. You've talked about many of the stocks from within this pocket, like Godrej Properties has been one of your most talked about stocks as well. What's your fresh approach on the real estate space?
I think this sector too is getting into new round of momentum. So
Okay.
one can definitely start looking at stocks which are at a support level to get into a trading strategy.
Okay, fair point. We'll definitely look at the real estate stocks. Right now, it seems that this could be the top mover in the markets. About 4 tenths% higher is what we could see. The real estate pack open at as well. Remember, we're just 30 seconds away from the markets, and we'll see how that one also opens in trade. But what else could be in focus is autos, metals, banks, IT, even the broader markets could be in focus in trade today. Pharma, consumer durables, and FMCG, they could be starting on the back foot is what we are given to understand as far as the pre-open trade is concerned. But autos, especially two-wheelers, banks, large cap private sector banks could be in focus, and of course some of those real estate names as well could be clearly in focus. The first tick is here, viewers. We have opened on a positive note, 25,125 on the Nifty, 20 points higher now in trade, and the markets are moving higher. Real estate is up by 2 tenths%. You have the broader markets 3 tenths% higher, with the small cap index higher in trade. We'll also look at the Nifty Bank at this point in time. Which is opening with gains, which is largely led by the private sector banks, just 2 tenths% higher move. All the sectors barring pharma and consumer durables are opening in a positive zone. Let's look at the stocks. Eternal, top mover, 1% higher. Bajaj Auto, 0.7% up. Apollo Hospitals, on the back of the news flow that I've already shared with you, viewers, 0.6% higher in trade. Hero Moto and BEL, on the back of the block deal, that's also ticking higher. Remember, the stock has also been in focus over the last couple of sessions, is also opening up. But on the downside, now you have IT and Pharma both that are dragging. 3 tenths% lower for the IT pack, and Pharma down by about 2 tenths%. Dr. Reddy's is down by 0.6%. Remember, I spoke to you and shared with you the update on US FD and the observations coming in. That's leading to some pressure there. Infosys, that's down by 0.8%. Shriram Finance, Sun Pharma, HDFC Life, the other stocks that are down by about 0.7% in trade. Quickly moving to the gainers and the losers from the Nifty 500 basket. What is moving here in trade? Are there any specific names that we can mark out for our viewers which are gaining substantially? Well, you have Sejal Glass, Gensol Engineering, that's hovering higher in trade. Then you also have names like Bafna Pharmaceuticals, some of those smaller names that are actually taking higher. Sri Pushkar Chemicals is higher in trade. You have Indo Solar, that's up and about. Swan Defense is higher. So some of these names that are moving up towards the morning session as well. When we look at the laggards, however, you have KRBL that's down today. You also have names like Electrotherm that's down in trade as well. You have Blue Coast Hotels. So some of those small cap names again that are down in trade. But Vaishali, coming to you, how do you see the market opening above 25,125?
Well, that's what we were looking forward to, and yes, that's happening. So again, I would say that near-term, short-term traders should really take this level seriously, 25 to 50 levels, and from there on, we can have a new view.
Okay, got that. I hope this has also helped you out clearly. Let's take the next one then. I wanted to understand from you, when it comes to the broader market specifically, Vaishali, what's your sense here? The small caps and the mid caps have started to pick up some momentum over the last couple of weeks. How are you approaching these two baskets? Is it completely stock specific, or do you find a trend here?
Well, there is a good trend formation, so I would start looking for good stocks now, and they should not be neglected, can't be overlooked.
Okay. India VIX, viewers, meanwhile, has climbed up 3% higher. So the volatility is pretty much high at this point in time. Right in the opening trade, the Nifty slipped lower, a tad lower, 25,105. Largely pulling down this space is the IT pack, Pharma. These are the two pockets that are declining in trade. IT stocks were actually coming back in a sharp momentum last couple of weeks. We saw Vaishali on the back of Infosys buyback that was announced, and also on the back of some hopes that the US-India talks, as far as trade is concerned and tariff is concerned, could resume as well. But again, from the last couple of sessions, again, there is some large amount of profit taking here. How are you looking at this extremely volatile space of IT?
Well, I would not be in a hurry till I see, because right now I would just take it as a trading strategy for short trades, but I'll wait and watch. If it's for a long-term perspective, I would definitely start accumulating good quality stocks, but not for a trade. I mean, there's nothing really that they have to offer right now.
Okay, fair point. Let me also, help all our viewers understand what's happening on some of the other key pockets. Autos continue to be in a momentum zone. 4/10% higher, largely leading this move today is Hero, Bajaj Auto, even Tata Motors among the top gainers. Vaishali, this is one space that has clearly, taken the baton in its own hands and said that yes, GST rationalization is going to benefit us in a big way. We've seen even companies that have been very proactive in announcing the price cuts that will come in on a lot of the car models and two-wheeler models as well, starting September 22nd. But some of the companies have also announced before the GST rationalization comes to take the benefit of the demand even before September 22nd as well. So how are you looking at the auto basket as of now, and what's your sense here? Once you give us your view, I will also share with our viewers a brokerage house update there.
So I would say actually seeing the sector on the whole has been outperforming, and even when I'm looking at the monthly chart, it's ready to get into a new price territory. So view overall stays bullish, and as I mentioned, I am looking at Ashok Leyland. We've already, as a matter of fact, recommended a buy to our clients in Bajaj, Hero Moto, etc. But new buying opportunity, I think still one can look into Bharat Forge and in Ashok Leyland.
Okay, Bharat Forge and Ashok Leyland, keep an eye out on that. Viewers, I'll just reiterate for you the brokerage house update that we have. HSBC on autos, which has talked about, led by GST driven price cuts. They're factoring in a 200 to 300 basis points higher CAGR growth over the next 4 to 5 years across auto segments. They also believe that the share prices have already rallied 6 to 17% since the time GST revisions were announced on 15th of August. So they are now likely to track earnings growth from here onwards. The growth could be front end loaded is what they believe, leading them to lift their FY27 and FY28 EPS estimates by 4 to almost 14% as well across the companies. Which are their preferred companies? They prefer Maruti, where they have a buy rating and a target price that they have risen to 17,000 now. On Hyundai also, they have a buy rating. The target price they have raised to 2,800. They have a buy rating on TVS Motor and have raised the target price to 4,000. On M&M, they have a buy with a target price that they have raised to 4,000 again. And Ather also, where they have a buy rating and they have raised the target price to 600 levels as well. So keep an eye out on the auto basket as of now. So we've also discussed a lot of auto names from Vaishali as well. But what else is ticking higher? I think from the mobility space is the railway space as well, Vaishali. RVNL 4.4% higher in trade, IRFC 2.5% higher in trade, Concor, IRCTC, these are all the stocks that are getting into clear momentum right now. Remember, this space along with defense has been hibernating for some time. But let's find out what's in the offing. Is there a fresh wave of move that's really going to be taking these railway stocks also a notch higher? What would you advise here, Vaishali?
Sakshi, I think we have discussed the sector even earlier. Now it's getting
Yeah.
into momentum, but all this while, I would say it was very fairly placed as far as technical levels are concerned. So we were already focusing on Titagar and all, and now if you look at Texmaco Rail, the other stocks that you mentioned, I think they are getting into momentum. So definitely, one can start accumulating for some good returns from here on.
Okay, fair point. Let me also just see what else is ticking higher. Real estate, as we had pointed out, is now in clear momentum. It's the top moving sectoral gainer. Let me just pull out a few names from here for our viewers to see, and then we'll take one more fresh view from Vaishali here. Look at Anant Raj, 5.8% higher. Raymond is almost 2% up. Godrej is 1% higher. DLF, Oberoi Realty, Phoenix Mills, they're all in momentum. Anant Raj, for you specifically, Vaishali, this space was, clearly in focus when the entire data center news flow had come in, and these companies were going big on it. Netweb and Anant Raj had really rallied pretty sharply. Once again, Anant Raj is coming back into focus after some time of a gap. How are you looking at it?
I think we've got a good strong bullish candle already up by over 5%. So I would say one can still wait for a dip or start accumulating because 520 acts as a support. It needs to cross 600. We see a cross of 600, it's ready for a target of 650. So one must buy this.
Okay, fair point. So that's also got into focus. What else is taking higher is the banking space as well. Look at PSU banks, almost up by half odd percent. Remember, PSU banks were also in focus last 1 week as well. We're also looking at a lot of NBFC names that are higher. Look at a Bajaj Finance; it's climbed to a record high level there. So let's discuss this space as well, Vaishali, with you. The banking and the NBFC space. Starting off with Bajaj Finance, record high now coming in on Bajaj Finance. What do you think is behind this fresh move, and where does it take the NBFC names higher?
Well, so yes, of course, I do agree. It's given that all-time high. So overall, this full sector is looking promising. So I would also, I mean, no point giving a buy recommendation at this level, but I
Okay.
would definitely say that yes, the strong trend is getting so strong that wait for a dip if one needs to buy because longer-term projections, I think this can go towards 1100, 1150 levels also. But fair momentum can set in IIFL, Shriram Finance. These are the stocks that one should start looking at.
Okay, fair point. What about the PSU banks, Vaishali? Have you been noticing this fresh uptick on the PSU banks over the last couple of weeks? Is that leading you to choose some stocks from here too?
Bank of Maharashtra, Bank of Baroda, Union Bank, Indian Bank, they all look pretty good at these levels. So can
Okay.
because overall the PSU banking sector also looks quite good.
Okay, got that. I hope this has also helped you out. Let me actually look at the Nifty 500 names yet again and look at the top gainers. Realtel Corp is 8.2% higher in trade viewers. So again, the railway theme that is currently getting into smart momentum at this point in time. IFCI is up by 7.5%. Even ITI Limited is now up by about 4.5%. Vaishali, do you see a lot of interest that's emerging back on the PSU theme as a whole? Not just railways, not just defense, not just banks, but the entire theme is now getting back into focus after a long haul. How are you approaching this one then?
Yes, I would say that since I think, I mean, it's too strong to say that yes, we are getting into a good run from here on, which is what the charts are showing. So I think PSU sector also, I mean, and we saw that already in the metal sector. We saw sale, we saw even the mine and mineral stocks. So overall, I think all sectors really need to give a strong look and start accumulating good quality stocks because we are here in for a good time. Of course, one has to be very calculated in their trading strategy. But seeing the way Nifty is going, once we see the levels being crossed, I think we are heading for a good run.
Okay, got that. I hope this has also helped you out, viewers, in looking at the stock. Remember, Railtel, which is up by 8%, the shares are in focus after bagging 210 crore rupees order, which we had marked out for all of you in our stocks to watch list as well. So keep that in mind as well. Let me also highlight for all our viewers what else is taking. So from the railway space, erstwhile favorite Jupiter Wagons is also higher in trade. Keep an eye out on the entire railway space for that matter, right? Ircon, everything is actually moving in trade. IT and Pharma, the only two drags at this point in time. Vaishali, how are you looking at the Pharma space which is lagging behind?
So I would wait because, of course, this sector as well as the IT sector is a bit worry of what the decision is.
Yeah.
But I would still maintain Zydus, Glenmark, Mankind, all these are looking for quite good. Even Lupin gave a gap up opening, and we are seeing that there is, well, right now nothing much happening. But I'm looking at a projected target of 2100. So slow and steady, but stock specific. We are seeing good momentum in all these stocks.
Okay, got that. I hope this has also truly helped you out. Let's look at some of the other aspects also that are in focus in trade. Well, let's look at the small cap basket. I think that's getting into momentum at this point in time. Any key stocks that we could mark out here? JBM Auto, Triveni Turbine, CESC is getting into focus as well. That's also in focus. Auto ancillaries, particularly, Vaishali, are you looking at all? After the autos, of course, we've been focusing on a lot on the OEM players. But do you think with the GST rationalization and the increasing demand for the actual vehicles, even the auto part companies could be riding high?
Definitely. We saw a good run up coming in JPM Auto last week. Also, Samad and Motherson, they are all doing very well. Along with that, the battery stocks, I mean, Exide, Amara Raja, all these. So it's a whole package, and not to miss the tire stocks also. So yes, we are seeing good run up coming in these stocks as well.
Okay, got that. Let's take some more, sectoral views and actions as well that we are looking at this point in time. Let me actually look at, the completely different from consumer, oriented spaces. Let me look at hardcore economy focused spaces, oil and gas, metals, for instance, Vaishali. How are you looking at the commodities at this point in time and those sectors?
So, yes, to start with metals, I think we saw a good run up coming in almost all metal stocks. I mean, even in the cash category, if you see Hindustan Copper, then we had Midani, that comes in, of course, the defense. But we also had Hindustan Zinc. They are showing good strength, but we need to see a follow-up buying. So, yes, it's a wait and watch. But overall, if you look at Jindal Steel and Power, JSW, Hindalco, they are all doing well, even Nalco. So they are in setting a trend.
Okay, got that. What about the power related stocks, Vaishali? Are you looking at that? The erstwhile favorites like PFC, REC for that matter, even Power Grid, NTPC, if you could help us understand what your fresh, way of approaching them.
Yeah, so I'm looking at REC just in the morning only. We've seen a formation of a good candle. So I would say the stock has witnessed a good consolidation at 370, and now it's showing some signs of revival. So I think as a trading strategy, look for a target of 400. Above that, 420 is the main hurdle. After that, we can have a review.
Okay, got that. Vaishali, I think within the PSUs, we should also focus a little bit on the defense space. Apollo Microsystems is getting into focus yet again, 5% higher for this one. On Friday, we had seen a substantial move across the board. Will this carry on in the defense space? Where are you keeping your focus? Is it again the large caps like HAL, BEL of the lots, or do you think several others could also be in momentum?
So I would say it's actually all of them. Actually, if you see Garden Reach, I mean, among the frontline, I always choose, my focus goes first on HAL and BDL and Masgao Docks. But even in the cash counter, if you see Garden Reach, Cochin Shipyard also. So overall, we are seeing good strength, BEL far as that's concerned. So all these stocks are looking positive, and I would say continue to hold, and it could give you good returns.
Okay, got that. I hope this has also given you some sense of how to approach the space as a whole. This has, of course, been one of the spaces where retail investors' interest is pretty heightened at this point in time as well. Okay, I think consumer durables are now picking up some pace. Let me just highlight a few stocks from this basket. Amber Enterprises is 2% higher. You also have Crompton, Greaves, PG, Electroplast, Havells, Voltas also moving up in tandem as well. Vaishali, on the GST rationalization theme, do you think the upcoming festive season it's also getting combined with the e-commerce sales? On September 22nd, GST cuts will be announced, and at the same time, you'll have Flipkart Big Billion Days or Amazon Great Indian Festival as well. These are now seen as big, areas where sentiments can be drawn from as to how the festive season, the demand, and therefore the earnings could be. Consumer durables for you. How are you looking at the upcoming festive season?
I think, yes, if we talk about Voltas, Havels, they still show a lot of strength. Blue Star has been doing well, should continue to do well. So I would say, yes, these stocks are still having a potential of going further high.
Okay, got that. Let me also take, one more view, which is on some of the other spaces that we haven't touched base upon so far, and I wanted to actually touch base upon. Clearly the spaces that we haven't really talked too much about, FMCG hardcore space, and that's the space that I wanted to draw even Vaishali's view here on hardcore stocks like HUL, ITC for that matter, Britannia. There's a lot of debate as to whether the GST cuts will be really able to help the volume growth that has been a sticky point for the companies of late in the last couple of quarters. And of course, we do know FMCG has been a big laggard of a performance over the last 1 to 2 years time frame. Do you really believe the GST cuts can actually change the course for the FMCG stocks, or do you think it will still take some more time?
It's hard to tell, but I think the demand is going to be just the way it is. I mean, one does not keep on adding more to just because the GST benefits are there. So I think it will take its own sweet time. And anyways, these sectors are considered more so in times of uncertainty. So, but if I'm looking at it chartically, the paint stocks are picking up. Even HUL, ITC, they all are doing well. So it's not going to be a runaway rally, but I think good to buy at a good support level, then hold on for targets as and when it comes.
Okay, got that. One more space that we haven't discussed so far with Vaishali is the capital markets related stocks. Vaishali, we have been seeing that the IPO action is consistently moving up. We've seen so much appetite from investors that's unstoppable. There are more IPOs that are going to be coming in this 1 or 2 months as well. The large ones like even a Tata Capital IPO or maybe an LG, there's heightened expectation that all of that could come in around Diwali. And before that, how are you looking at the capital market spaces, the broking spaces to be tapping onto that kind of a potential now?
So I would say actually they have done their bit of corrective move. If you
Yeah.
talk about, let's talk about BSE to start with. We saw a good erosion in this stock from its peak, and currently it's already sitting on a support of 200-day moving average. So I would say 2,100 acts as a very good support. It's in a formation of bottoming out at these levels. So I think one can buy at these levels because that would again give a favorable risk reward ratio. View below 2000 gets negated. So I would say a good opportunity to buy. And for now, just look for a trading strategy up to 2400. Unless and until this stock moves about 2400 and sustains, I think we can expect a range bound. But beyond that, it can get into a good trend.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has also given you some understanding there. All right, Vaishali, first 15-20 minutes are already done with the markets. We are just hovering around the flat line, tad lower, 25,090. So we've slipped a tad lower below the 25,100 odd mark. What would your trading strategy be?
So, I'm looking at ABB right now because this is one of the sectors which has really not performed. So,
Okay,
ABB looks good to me at these levels. The current market price, I'll just give you the precise levels that I'm looking at.
sure.
So ABB is one of the stocks, 5283, with a stop loss of 5100. Look for a target of 54.55. This is one of the stocks to my liking right now. And as we discussed, JVM Auto has got into good momentum once
Yeah.
again. So that is one stock which one can look for. It's showing a lot of strength. So ideal level to get into would be at around 700 levels, and look for a target of 780 to 800.
Okay. Lastly, between Nifty and Nifty Bank, where is your focus on currently?
Well, so, hard to tell, but I would be more comfortable with Nifty right now
Okay.
because Bank Nifty for now is going in sync with Nifty. So, Nifty would be my index to watch. And I maintain 25 to 50. No new trade right now. In fact, to those who have bought, worth considering a sell partial profit booking at 25, between the zone of 25, 150 to 250.
Okay, fair point then, Vishali. Thank you so much for being with us on the morning show and helping us across the board, understanding where does momentum throw in some opportunities and where you need to be still cautious in the markets. Appreciate your time, Vishali, with us as always. 25,088 on the Nifty viewers, 26 points lower in trade. IT, Pharma, metals have now slipped. Even oil and gas is now seeing some profits being taken off now. But IT and Pharma clear drags. But real estate is doing well, almost a percent higher. This is despite the fact that the India VIX is further climbing up, now nearing a 4% spike. Let's look at even the broader markets. Mid and small caps both are hovering higher. PSU banks, PSU stocks largely. Railways are the ones that are definitely moving. It was Friday, it was defense. Today it's railways pack that's clearly in focus. But even Some of the defense names like HAL are carrying on with the move, like 1.7% higher in trade today. But PSU names like RBNL, IRFC, HAL, REC, NHPC, Power Finance Corporation, Concor, IRCTC, even the names like power names like Coal India, that's also hovering higher in trade. But on the Nifty, you have some of the heavyweights that are holding up their momentum. Bajaj Finance is one which we marked out for you at all-time high levels. Hero Moto from the auto pack, Eternal from the food delivery space and e-commerce space, Coal India and Adani Ports as some of the spaces that are still holding up in trade. We'll leave you at that, viewers, but do stay tuned on to the Business Today channel. We will continue to get you market coverage across the board. And of course, if you have any questions about the stocks in your portfolio, ask them away on daily calls at 12 noon. I'll be joining you soon.
65th CM convention, the rolling coverage is on, and of course I've been joined by one of the biggest commercial vehicle manufacturers in India, the president and the COO, Mr. Ganesh Mani. Thank you so much, Ganesh.